Now, so we are now coming, as I say, what we're doing is now, we have a little visual presentation of what we were on the mountain, but on the mountain we're talking about the rocks and the Sinai, but sometimes you see this guy is ranting on about this and that. Maybe we have a few little pictures. Okay, so we're now going to look at the pictures, yes? So we're now going to look at the pictures. Okay, this is a visual presentation. This is a visual presentation of what we're doing here. Okay, this is Moses, but it's also you and also me. This is the Ark of the Covenant, but the Ark of the Covenant is every altar and every tabernacle in every Catholic church in the whole world. This is the sanctuary, which is the sanctuary. If you go to any Catholic church, you have the sanctuary. This is the nave, the sanctuary. In the sanctuary, you have the tabernacle, the living presence of God. This is the Surgina. This is the flame. Now, what is the Surgina? This is the crux of the problem, the Surgina, the Shekinah. I was using the Chinese pronunciation. It's called the Shekinah. Shekinah, the other day I was in the church where I'm working. There were 8 priests, and they walked into the church, and I had a little book. I said, do you know what the Shekinah is? Not one of them knew. No, I didn't know what the Shekinah was until a few years ago. But the Shekinah is the center of our lives. Because the Shekinah in Hebrew, it means the presence of God in this Shekinah. Now, this symbolizes, I say, the presence of God, and the presence of God today is what? The Mass. See, look, that's the chalice, God, Jesus' blood, and this is the Jesus' body, and that is the Shekinah. So in every Catholic church in the whole world, there's the Shekinah. And this is the Ark of the Covenant. Now, what happens is when we go to Mass every day, we have communion, we eat the body and blood of Christ. So each of us becomes a Shekinah. Each of us becomes a living Ark of the Covenant. We become, and we can mention that Jesus, we all say that Our Lady is the first living Ark of the Covenant. But in actual fact, every one of us is a living Ark, is an Ark of the Covenant. There was a story, I can't remember which priest, one day, there was a Catholic, he went to church, and he was sitting at the back of the church, and he went to communion, and he ate the body and blood of Christ. And then he suddenly said, well, I've had enough of this. And he went home. He immediately got up and he went out. And then he looked here and he looked here on both sides of him. There was a guy holding a candle here. The priest wanted to teach him a lesson because he forgot that when he went to communion, he became a living Ark of the Covenant. God was in him. He was a temple. We are told by Paul, we are temples of the Holy Spirit. So we have an angel here and an angel here. And if you see here, look, you see on the top of the Ark of the Covenant, we have what is called the 2 cherubim. These are 2, they're huge. So this place, if later on we're going to have a detailed description of the temple in Jerusalem, and we'll see where all this fits in Jerusalem, and where all this fits in our everyday life. Now, today, we will see all this thing. The 10 Commandments, the Shekinah, the Mass, the Ark of the Covenant. So many people, they say, hey, where is the Ark of the Covenant? They say, where is the Ark of the Covenant? The Ark of the Covenant is, every Catholic church has the Ark of the Covenant. We become the Ark of the Covenant. And we'll see in a minute, before long, that the Ark of the Covenant of 3,000 years ago, or maybe 2,500, disappeared. Why? Because the real Ark of the Covenant is Jesus Christ. Or each one of us is a living stone in the temple, which is the real Ark of the Covenant, the living temple. We are the living temple. So this is bringing us down. This is all happening now. And this is not just history. Every day, the commandments come down, the Shekinah comes down, and every day we live the same life as that. That is basically, you know, we talk about liturgy, and people say, "Oh, the liturgy is so boring." It is. You could say it's boring. Why is it boring? Why is the liturgy so boring? Why is the Mass so boring for many people? Because it's a lack of imagination. I always say that many people don't become Catholics is because there's a lack of imagination. So when we go to Mass, all we can see is some bleary-eyed priest saying something in English which anybody can say, and they can't see the whole mystery of the whole thing, because the Mass is the whole of the universe in tune, singing a symphony for the Almighty. So the Mass is heaven. So we have to when we go to Mass every day, we have to have all these pictures in our mind. We have to have the Ark of the Covenant, we have to have the Ten Commandments, we have the Shekinah. So what happens is, okay, the Shekinah comes down, that's God's presence, and what happens next? Okay, all right, they come down here, the Shekinah, okay. Okay, now, all right, we've just stated this is the top of the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, now why is it called the Ark? Well, the Ark is we can say it's a box. Why is it called the Covenant? Why is it called the Ark of the Covenant? Because the Covenant is, maybe you could say, the basic idea. We have the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Old Covenant, the New Covenant, and the New Covenant is when we go to Mass every morning, the priest said, "This is the new and everlasting covenant in my blood." So the covenant, and what does covenant mean? The covenant means that God, he starts us off the first covenant with Adam and Eve. That's the covenant of the 10th day. He says to the people, basically, he says, if you, all you have, I'm telling you now, I'm the boss. If you do this, that, and that, I will look after you. And that's why every day, maybe Mass, we go to Mass. If you go to Mass, if you take this bread and you take this wine, he says, do this in everlasting. This is the everlasting covenant. In other words, I have guaranteed, because I've died on the cross, I've rent open the way to heaven. If you come with me to Mass, I will take you to heaven. It's very simple. And we say, well, that's too simple. You know, you go to Mass, you sit there, and you stand up and you sit together. Stand up and sit. That's too simple. I don't buy that. Okay, you don't buy that. Well, what's the answer? The monkey. if you don't follow this thing, you go back to the zoo and look at the monkeys. Every day, I always have to laugh. Every day we open on the television and we read about a man who's been living with gorillas for 14 years, and he's discovered by looking at the gorillas how we should act. There was one woman, I think she stood in a lake up to her neck in water, and she was looking at the geese floating around. The geese were all floating around. Just looking at the geese. Oh, I see the geese, how they live. That's going to teach us how to live in Manhattan or in High Street. Well, that's fair enough. I don't mind. But anyway, I prefer this to the sitting in the lake up to here looking at geese. So this is going to go back. This is the Ark of the Covenant. These are the cherubim. Okay, the cherubim. What are the cherubim? Now, just by the way, I don't want to laugh at the Protestants, but I think it's very simple. You know, the other day I was talking to a Methodist minister, and I said to the Methodist, because he was going on, he says, "Why do you worship all these idols? Why do you have the pictures of the Madonna, and you have Padre Pio, and you have all these statues, and you worship them?" I said, well, first of all, we don't worship them. But I said, anyway, you say don't make images. Could you please tell me why God himself, according to the Bible, which you say is sola scriptura, we all have to be, according to the Bible, you say we have to believe what it says in the Bible. Now, according to the Bible, it says that God himself designed the Ark of the Covenant. This Ark of the Covenant is not just a human invention. According to the Bible, that God designed it. Okay. And you say, sola scriptura, you believe it. Okay. Now, God designed two idols, two figures. You know, they're two little sphinxes. They're two little, the head of a man, the eagles, and these are idols according to the Methodist way of looking at things. So if God himself designed two idols in the holiest place, in the holy temple, and the holiest place that you could think of according to the Greek Christian tradition, God designed two idols in the holy place. Why on earth are you so anti-images when God himself divined the two images there? And anyway, Jesus Christ was the image of God. So why are you worshiping this man? You're worshiping that man. That's, you're worshiping a man and you're worshiping. So it's a ridiculous argument. What is the problem with having cherubim have the pictures? It's absolutely stupid. And you know what the net result was? This little error of judgment. If you go to England, we all know, 500 years ago, 95% of the art, beautiful stained glass windows, statues, beautiful relics, architecture was completely obliterated. It was one of the greatest genocidal activity in the history of mankind when Henry VIII and Elizabeth III and after they said, destroy the monasteries, destroy the Mass, destroy the Our Lady. Don't have Corpus Christi confessions, just destroy. And so there we have the modern day England of Jeremy Corbett, who's saying the only answer is to raise the salary of the poor people and then everybody will be happy, which is what Marx said. But okay, raise them one and they have money. But what happens is when you get to the age of 80, where do you do? So here we are. The Ark of the Covenant, you see here, this is the Sergina, this is the presence of God appears every day at Mass here, okay? And this is the Shekinah, these are the flames. We can remind us of this flames. Where did this idea of Shekinah first appear? Well, the idea is in the Old Testament, we know that when the Jews were leaving Israel, they were going to the Red Sea, and there was a column of fire by night and a column of clouds by day. So the column of smoke. So that is the Shekinah. The Israelites are coming here. Now this is the Israelites are going here, going to Israelites, the Jews, and the Pharaoh's army was coming here, and between them they first have appeared this column of smoke and a column of fire. And so that was the original idea of the Shekinah, the presence of God protecting them. And then when Moses went into the 40 years in the desert, when Moses was in the desert, one day he saw the burning bush. There was a bush burning. The bush burning was the Shekinah. It was the presence of God. And he heard a voice from the bush. And he says, take off your shoes, this is holy ground. Why was it holy ground? Because of the Shekinah, the presence of God. Now, this presence of God, this Ark of the Covenant, this presence of God was with the Jews for 40 years. When this Shekinah came down, the Jews stopped, made their tents, had a good night's rest. In the morning, they ate manna, and then this Shekinah would rise and they would go. In other words, the Ark of the Covenant, the Shekinah, was the presence of God with them every day, leading them for 40 years through the desert. Likewise, today, what is it? Every day, the Holy Sacrament, the Sacrament Jesus Christ, living presence in every Catholic Church, is our guide, presence of God with us every day. So every day, that 40 days, 40 years in the desert symbolizes our life, our going to study, and every day we have the living presence of God with us every day. So that is the second hour. So if you don't go to Mass, Jesus Christ, if you do not eat my flesh, if you do not drink my blood, you will not have life in you. In other words, when we walk out the streets, these people that we see are cadavers. So I don't want to press the problem home because I'm being told to keep quiet. But we can remind ourselves that Jesus Christ, I am the way, the truth, and the life. If you do not eat me, you will have no life. So I am a corpse. If today, this morning, I do not eat Jesus, I am dead. Okay, I'll leave you with that thought. I'll come back some later time. Okay, have a good time. God bless.